Hello, it's Jane here from Avoda. I am back again with another video. This one is going to be a real quick one on how to add an employee into payroll. I did this one a few years ago, but seeing as the interface has changed a little bit, I thought I would do an updated 2026 version for you all. So, first thing you want to do is go to payroll and then employees. Now, because this is the first time we've gone into this in a demo company, we get this get started with payroll. So let's go back over here and click on employees. All right, now this is a demo company, so you can see that we have a whole heap of random names in here. So if you're setting up Xero for the first time, this won't have any names in here, obviously. So what you want to do is go new employee. See, I haven't done this for a while, so there's a couple new options here. So if you are perhaps importing from MyOb or a different payroll software, you can go the bulk import. You can invite employees to self-onboard. So if they've got all their details at home, they can just do it themselves, which could be quite easy. But for this demo, let's go in and add manually. And we are going to fill in the details that the employee has given to us. So let's just go through this together. All right, I am just going to make up some names here. So let's go with Georgia Smith. And her date of birth is, say, 18th of June 1992. You can put in her job title here, which I think is, I think that's a good thing to do. I think that's kind of important. Gender, you can search for the address here and it should come up. All right, phone number. An option to put an additional phone number, and then there is their email. And this one here, you can invite employees to Xero Me, which means that's where they can view their pay slips, submit their timesheets, and put in leave requests, which management can then approve or deny. So I think that is quite a good thing to do if they like to look at their pay slips whenever you do the pay run. Emergency contact, this is all optional, but I highly recommend putting that in. For obvious reasons, if they don't show up to work or if something happens to them at work. All right, so personal details are saved. Now we want to go through here and go to employment. And here you can set up the type of type of employment, sorry. So an employee or a contractor. So generally when you're setting it up in here, it'll be an employee, but it can, so an employee is when obviously you pay them wages, and a contractor is if they're invoicing you for their work on an ongoing basis. So not just like a once-off job here and there, but yeah, contractors do have to be employed as such now, even if they are running their own business and sending you invoices. So again, for this demo, let's do the most common one, which is an employee. Okay, so then we come down to income type. And you'll have three types here: salary and wages, closely held payees, and working holiday maker. Now, the most common is going to be salary and wages. Closely held payees is going to be like if you're the owner of the business, director of the company, that's when it's going to be closely held. So, if you're employing yourself, you want to go closely held. Working holiday maker is obviously for those people like backpackers and things that are on like working holiday visas, etc. So this part here can be a little bit difficult. Probably need to go watch one of my other videos on how to add in a superannuation fund. But like, let's click on that. And then what you would want to do is go in here and select it and then enter in their member number and click add. However, you have to go into the settings section in payroll, like in Xero. So here you'd have to go into settings and then navigate to payroll settings and add in the superannuation fund that way. And once that is added in, then you can select it from here. All right, and that's very important to put in. You have to pay your employees super in Australia. So you would save that and then go taxes. So here for the taxes, you want to enter the TFN in of your employee or TFN exemption, which there's a few options here. If the employee hasn't provided their TFN yet, you can click on that. But yeah, get that TFN in ASAP. All right, so you can select the residency status here. Obviously, if you selected working holiday maker, that's going to be foreign. Has approved withholding variation. Very unusual to need that checked, but here you can enter in the percentage if that's required. And the tax scale, again, you can select which one suits your employee the best. So regular is obviously going to be the most common one there again. Here you can select these study or training support loans, which is what we used to call HEX debt or HELP debt. Claiming the tax-free threshold. These are the things that they would have filled out on their TFN declaration form. So you can just copy what your employee has written down from that. And eligible for leave loading, that is if your business does leave loading or if you're in an industry that has to pay leave loading. All right, let's go on to the next one, which is leave. All right, so we're in leave. So the employee must have pay frequency and ordinary earnings rate set up before leave can be entered. So let's go ahead and set up employment information. Okay, so we should have done this before rather than just skipping it. So let's go ahead and do all of that. Right. Pay a fortnightly or weekly calendar. Let's go through this again. So employee group is going to be none. If you've got a big business, you might make groups for this, which helps with tracking your wages and things like that. Holiday group, we're in Queensland, so let's put Queensland. And I would always like to tick include holidays in payslips so that it displays on the payslip if it's a public holiday. Ordinary earnings rate is ordinary hours. And if your employee is authorised to approve any of these things here. And like I said, superannuation fund can go in there. Let's see if I've entered enough details and if that works, which it looks like it has. So let's go back to the leave tab. All right, so you can click assign default leave types, which is, honestly, that's probably the easiest way. If you've got anything different in your business, if you offer, extra parental leave or 6 weeks annual leave instead of the usual 4, that's when you would assign it yourself. So if I go in here and and click on that, it's because I put the employee as full-time, it's automatically put in those hours accrued annually, by the employee. And same as the sick leave, that'll be half the amount of the annual leave. So in here you can assign various different types of leave. All right. And you can add in, I believe you can add in additional leave types in the payroll settings where you would add in the superannuation funds as well. All right, just where you can change it to paid out or not paid out. And again, if you have, you can add in an opening balance if they have been employed with you for some time and you're importing them over from a different payroll software. Right, and here this is where you can put in for new leave requests as well, or cash out leave. Okay, now this is where you add in the bank account for the employee. So all of these details here is what will appear on the ABA file, which is what the file you would download from Xero to upload to your bank to do a multiple funds transfer. So at the moment, Xero, you can't pay direct from Xero to pay your employees. You still have to upload that file into your bank account and then pay from there. If you've only got 1 or 2 employees, you could probably just do it manually, but if you've got maybe 4 or more, uploading a file is definitely the way to go. So just make sure that those details are right. If your employee wants the money split, you can add in a different account, so with a dollar amount there. So if they say, I want $50 a week from my pay to go into my savings, you can automatically do that as well. Pay slips, I think this is just where, all the employees' pay slips will go. So if they're wanting a pay slip back in, from June last year, this is where you can find it. The pay template. Right, this is what will go through, when you set this up, this is what will go through to pay employees or, processing a pay run. All right, so you want this to be very accurate. All right, now your basic things that you would normally put in here is ordinary hours. And you can either put them on an annual salary or enter a rate in. For the demo, I'm just going to enter a rate. And they're full-time, so let's do 38, and their hourly rate is $40 an hour. You can add in deductions. These confuse me a little bit, but this is, I think, where you would, that's fringe benefits tax, lease payments, things that you can salary sacrifice to let them pay less tax. If you're confused by this, probably best to talk to your accountant about that. If your employee is asking about salary sacrificing or fringe benefits, etc. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to leave that. The superannuation, this superannuation fund here will feed through from where we set it up earlier. All right, and reimbursement, again, it's similar to deduction, but for expenses or travel and things like that, you can pop in reimbursements in there. And it's probably a good idea to change that account to a travel expenses or reimbursable account, and you do that again in the payroll settings. All right, now let's go to opening balances, and again, I think this is where we can set up opening balances for leave, deductions, things like that. To be honest, I've never used this before. If I'm adding in opening balances, it's usually for leave, and I would usually do it under the leave tab. All right, and finally, the notes tab. Again, I have never used this, but this is where you could add notes perhaps you might, hate to say it, but you might make it a note for like a, 3 strikes you're out kind of thing. So you might make a note for their, doing an offence at work. You could make notes about their personal information. It's Georgia. Maybe she likes being called George. Anything that might be relevant to the employee, you can pop in there. All right, so hopefully that answers all your questions about how to add in an employee. If you do have any questions, please drop them below and I'll do my best to answer. I don't check my YouTube channel all that often, but I will do my best to answer any questions you have. And I hope you have found this super helpful. I try and be slow and thorough with these things. So if it has helped you, please like the video and subscribe to the Avoda channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers and I'm hoping to get there to help make the channel a success. So your support would mean the world. Thank you.